Hello, I am back, and I'm going to comment this game between TiamaT as Terran on the right side, and Darkn3ss as Zerg on the left side of Lost Temple. Um, so as you will notice, I am not in this game. I'm not playing. This is because Darkn3ss sent me this replay, and this should be higher level gameplay than anything that I can produce. So I'm hoping that it will be much more exciting than anything that I will be able to get out here. Um, I do believe this is some sort of series between TiamaT and Darkn3ss here, so I will commentate on the other games in the future, hopefully soon, and I hope they'll all be very interesting and fun for you to watch. So just the two players sort of having a friendly chat here. That's why I guess they knew each other and they're playing the game together. So in the income tab, we see nothing out of the ordinary. No players going for any sort of early spawning pool or early barracks, though we are getting the refinery early, right along with the barracks, which probably means we are going to see a Reaper harassment over on the Zergs, which is pretty tough for the Zerg to counter. It seems like they played some sort of Protoss game in earlier. But now, Darkn3ss is getting his spawning pool, which he will need to get up before that first Reaper comes over to his base. And now, Tiama has his barracks down, his tech lab will go down right away, so that the Reaper can come out and immediately begin to harass the worker line of Darkn3ss. Darkn3ss's income is a lot higher because of his harvester count. It has just 15 compared to 10, and is going for a fast hatchery. So he's really trying to get the income advantage over TiamaT. Orbital command coming up, so the mule will be able to sort of even out that income disadvantage that Tiama had before, and is starting to pump out more SCVs from the command center, as that Reaper should be done right about now, or not quite, I suppose, halfway. So hold on one second. Sorry about that, I just wanted to fix some lag issues that I was having right there. So again, TiamaT is just going for the early Reapers to get out and attack Darkn3ss's base, and Darkn3ss's spawning pool has just gotten up recently, but is supply locked. He's getting his queens out, and queens can definitely do some damage against the Reapers that are coming over, and it's really the best way to counter the Reaper harassment. The only problem is TiamaT does not even know which location Darkn3ss is at quite yet, so he will have to scout out, and these Reaper harassment will not be quite as effective as it could have been, since the queen is now already up, and Zerglings should be coming out rather soon. The Reapers, Reapers has to run away against the queen. The only thing is that queen moves very, very slowly off of the creep, and that is really where Reapers can take his advantage over the queen. And if he moves out to the expansion zone, he will notice this fast hatchery and might change his gameplay up a little bit accordingly. Now he has a second Reaper out, moving out, and will see this expansion that was set up by Darkn3ss and perhaps throw a couple of charges. Nope. Gonna move up to the mineral line. Ooh, pop down a Zergling right there. But it's gonna move up and continue to harass this Darkn3ss, the Zerg player, as there goes one drone, but will be forced to flee from the queen. Oh, just gonna come back around. So still doing noticeable damage against Darkn3ss, but it's gonna be trapped by this Roach Warren, and that is gonna be the end for these two Reapers, who got a couple kills, but probably not worth their cost. Back over here at red, there is another Reaper moving across, and tech lab on the barracks, and now a second command center coming up. So he saw that the Zerg player had an expansion and realized that in order to keep up economically, he probably should get one of his own. As well as two more barracks coming down, so perhaps going for a mass Marauder and Marine rush, which could be effective, as this Reaper is still giving line of sight and preventing this extractor or drones to mine out of this one perhaps, I'm not exactly sure. if 4.5 is enough range to shoot here, but doing good scouting for Tiama. And now we have, again, these two barracks coming up, supply depots back here. The harvester count is in favor of the Zerg player, as he has the two bases, although we do have mules for Tiama, which should even out the income somewhat. Taking up to tier 2, perhaps we'll see Hydralisks and Roaches, which is, I think, a good combo, as I said in the previous game. As he's just trying to continue to get drones and fill up his expansion here, and it's good to have at least 2 drones per mineral field in order to get good saturation of your minerals, and no more than 3 per, otherwise you're just wasting drones. And what are we getting? 2 reactors, so it looks like a very marine heavy push, as we already have Stimpack being researched, perhaps Combat Shield in the future, as Tiama is just massing Marines, which is something that I do believe to be a pretty tough force, as they are strong against air, they have good range, and with Stimpack they'll just burn down air units, and they, again with Stimpack they do a lot of damage to ground units, so Darkn3ss could be in a little bit of trouble here, as these Marines get produced and start to be pushed forward. He is getting spine crawlers, but 1 will not be enough if these... Oh, and is this a factor? Yeah, well, if these 4 barracks continue to push out with a lot of Marines and Marauders, there'll be nothing that Darkn3ss could really do with this army composition yet. That command center just sitting there, so not actually moving to the expansion, just being used to call down mules. Which is interesting. I don't see that happen very often, but it's a cool concept. I've never tried it myself. But I guess perhaps if I have an excess of minerals, I might as well put down the command center and move it to the expansion later. Any new tech coming in here? We have the Spire coming up. So Darkn3ss is going to go air, but like I said, the Marines can do quite a bit of damage to air if the Mutalisks, if the Mutalisks get around, though, they can do a lot of sort of harassment against the mineral line, because these Marines are not nearly as mobile as the Mutalisks, though we don't see any Mutalisks eggs quite yet, as Darkn3ss needs to get more resources. First, getting more extractors. Sorry for the other, again another interruption, I got an unfortunate phone call. But like I was saying, Mutalisks, very gas heavy, Darkn3ss needs more extractors. Especially if he's going to be able to combat this large marine force. Looking at the army for Tiama is at 2,300 minerals, while Darkn3ss is only sitting at 800. So Tiama definitely has a larger force and could do a lot of damage to Darkn3ss. However, Darkn3ss is setting up another expansion, so we'll be able to eventually outproduce Tiama, who is sitting at only a single mineral field, though off of extra mules from this extra orbital command. Setting up missile turrets, so probably did an orbital scan, saw the Spire, and now is getting turrets to try and counter those. But Darkn3ss is realizing that there's this large force, now with a siege tank to reinforce, and he needs to do something right now in order to be able to combat the force right here. And here is the engagement. These Marines easily burning off all of these ground forces using Stimpack. Single spine crawler isn't going to do much. Queen taken down, and Darkn3ss is just in a very unfortunate position, and that will be GG for him, as his base is getting taken down. And no Mutalisks were even put up. None are in production. I don't see any, so just not the right counter units against this army, and could not mass up. He went for too much macro and not enough into the army. As you can see in spending, red TiamaT spent a lot more into army, and that is what gave him the win. So thank you for watching this replay, and I will try to cast the other replays of Darkn3ss and TiamaT. I believe there are 2 more, so I hope you will enjoy those. And thank you for watching, and I'll just let this replay run out.